What is up, everybody? This is Lyle, No Hippie Trucking and Transportation, coming at you from the Pilot in Russellville, Arkansas. I-40, exit 84. If you're ever in the area, there's always going to be plentiful parking, whether it's at this Pilot here or the Flying J across the street. And if you have time on your clock and it's the right time of day, I-40, exit 35, Workman Travel Plaza, one of the best truck stops out there. What I want to talk about today is this holiday incentive that Prime had put out, and I had a chance to sit back, see what a lot of people were posting on Facebook, a couple videos, things like that, and I wanted to chime in a little bit on that. And I think that what is going on, I could just look at it and say, you know what, motherfuckers are just ungrateful. You know what I'm saying? Sorry to say, you know what I'm saying. But I could look at it and say, you know what, people just ungrateful. Or I could look at it and say, you know what, maybe a lot of truck drivers are like me. Maybe not the most educated in the world. You know, I did graduate high school with a 1.8 grade point average, so my language, you know, my grasp of the English language may not be as well as most, but one thing that I do know, just because I've been in industries that have had bonuses and incentives, is I do know there's a difference between a bonus and incentive. So what I want to do is kind of give you the two definitions, and maybe this will help you understand a little bit more. So let's talk about the definition of incentive, okay? Which is what Prime is giving out. The definition of incentive is a thing that motivates or encourages one to do something. A payment or concession to stimulate greater output or investment. So that's what an incentive is. Now let's just take a look and see what bonus means. You know, because I'm not 100% clear. A bonus is an amount of money added to wages on a seasonal basis, especially as a reward for good performance. An extra free throw, all right, that's a different thing, but basically a bonus is going to be paid for past performance. So let's look at this in a couple of different ways, because I'm going to take two different times that I've seen an incentive, or one different time that I've seen an incentive and a bonus. So when I was in the car business, I remember a time when they weren't sure if they wanted to open for New Year's Day, but they asked the salespeople, we just want to take a head count, see who would be willing to work tomorrow on New Year's Day. If you guys work New Year's Day, whether you sell a car or not, it's going to be $150. Then if you sell a car, you're going to make an extra $200 on top of that. That is an incentive to have people do things that they may not normally want to do. All right, that's kind of the situation here. Prime is saying, we're not forcing you to do anything, but if you do, here's an incentive. Now, how good the incentive is or isn't has nothing to do with anything. You have the choice to turn down that incentive either way. Either do or don't do. Don't cry. Now, a bonus would be something like I might have put out when I was in the mortgage industry. Hey, if we hit $40 million in loan volume this month, we're going to roll up in Del Frisco's like we just won the World Series, and we're going to have an open bar, anything that you want to eat, plus we're going to pay you an extra 5% on top of all the loans that you did last month. That's a bonus. So a bonus, which is what I'm going to be paying my driver for this holiday season, isn't based on what she does going forward. It's based on what her performance was in the past. Now, what you could say is, well, Prime had a good year. Why don't they just pay out a bonus? Listen, if you're expecting any trucking company to pay out a bonus, I'm surprised they even put out the incentive. It just shows me that there is a lack of empathy for what is going on with the freight market right now. It almost reminds me of, you ever see kids that don't know maybe they are just poor, grew up in a project, or whatever the situation is. Well, you know what? Typically, people that grow up in projects are a little bit more grateful for anything they do get. But let's just say that you just happen to be kind of poor, but not super poor, where you just expect it. And Christmas is coming around. Maybe you have friends that have a little bit more money or whatever, and you're expecting all this stuff for Christmas. And the family's like, you know, we just don't got it. So now you got a family living with, you got parents that are out here feeling guilty about not being able to provide. And I'm not saying that Prime can't provide based on past performance, but business isn't based on past performance. Business is based on projected earnings and what's going on right now. So I think that people that are complaining about this holiday incentive with Prime have a lack of empathy in regards to the freight market, and really just the total lack of understanding of business in general. So my advice is, if the incentive is great enough for you to do something that you normally wouldn't do, then stay out, run. If it's not greater than that, then go home. If you were going to run anyway, look at it as an opportunity to possibly gain something that you wouldn't have had the opportunity to gain. It's really that simple. Anyway, that's my thoughts on that. I appreciate you guys stopping by No Hippie Trucking and Transportation. As always, comment, subscribe, and I'm out.